A settlement agreement is a written agreement between you and your employer. Usually it will set out the terms on which your employment will come to an end, although it's entirely possible it's already ended. You will be waiving potential claims that you may have against your employer, and in return you can expect to receive a sum of money. You'll also see a number of other contractual provisions. For example, that you won't say anything bad about your employer, you will maintain confidentiality, and you'll return company property. A reference is also typical. There are numerous different reasons why an employer may offer a settlement agreement, but I tend to see three key scenarios. The first is in a redundancy situation. An employer may offer it to you in order to shortcut the consultation process or as a condition to offer an enhanced payment. The second is in performance and capability processes, where an employer may look to bring the relationship to an end by way of mutual agreement and shortcut that process. The same can happen in disciplinary processes. And then the third is that if there is a dispute or a grievance has been raised, the employer may seek to resolve that by way of a settlement agreement. Well, by signing the settlement agreement, you will be waiving potentially viable statutory claims. And the law recognises this, and so therefore says that to do so validly, you must first speak to an independent legal advisor, usually a solicitor. Normally, for this reason, what you'd expect to see is that an employer will contribute towards your legal costs or pay for them in full. Usually the typical contribution is £500 plus VAT. Initially, we'll speak to you over the phone and have a free chat just to discuss why you've been offered a settlement agreement and the background circumstances. From there, we'll ask that you send us your documents, your employment contract and your settlement agreement. After that, we'll set up a meeting to meet with you, normally by video conference or in our offices, and we'll go through the agreement in more in-depth terms. Here, we'll discuss your rights and the potential claims that you may have. We'll also discuss the terms of the agreement and potentially any amendments you may wish to want to make. At this stage, you'll be fully informed and be able to make a decision as to whether you want to sign the agreement or negotiate it further. If you do want to do negotiations, we can help you here and negotiate on your behalf. This varies from case to case. For simple matters, we can offer a same-day service. However, sometimes the negotiations can be lengthy or complex depending on the attitude of your employer, and it may take a bit longer. It can take up to several weeks. In respect of cost, it's important to remember that your employer will contribute towards your legal fees, and we will seek to work within that contribution, typically around £500 plus VAT. If we think it's going to be more than this, because the matter is particularly complex, we'll discuss this with you at the outset.